Now we start off with economies such as Kenya are being called upon to accelerate the reduction of fuel subsidies as with a view to creating more wiggle room to address more targeted and impactful interventions. Speaking during the ongoing spring meetings, officials from the International Monetary Fund have also called for a favourable mix between fiscal and monetary policy to support growth at a time of significantly elevated economic shocks. Julian Zamboko is attending the meetings and brings us the latest.
We are on day 3 of the World Bank IMF spring meetings right here in Washington, D.C. and the subject which has dominated conversation is the issue of debt restructuring. And the IMF, during the launch of the fiscal monetary report yesterday, did indicate that economies such as Kenya need to be cautious around issues around fuel subsidies and to dial them down to ensure that any stimulus in the fiscal space or any incentive being created is rightly targeted at those who are most vulnerable.
So what we recommend in these perspectives, yes, you need a tight fiscal policy for the reasons have been already mentioned. One is obviously the containing inflation, but the other is these heightened debt sustainability concerns and the lack of access to financing under these much tighter global financial conditions.
So you might be wondering, is it matters regarding only fiscal policy, that is taxation, public finance? Not at all. The IMF and the World Bank are calling for a right balance between fiscal and monetary policy, especially in view of the elevated shocks the global economy has suffered, whether it's COVID-19 and the spillovers, Russia, Ukraine. Now we have the most severe drought in 4 decades in the Horn of Africa region, and the IMF is calling for a proper balance between monetary and fiscal policy.
3 years after the pandemic, fiscal policy has moved a long way towards normalization. Already in 2021 and 2022, debt and deficits fell rapidly from record levels. To allow for extraordinary support in the early stages of COVID-19, many countries suspended fiscal rules. Now, most of these countries plan to go back to rules.
So starting tomorrow, we enter the last leg of the World Bank IMF spring meetings, and that is characterized by the release of the regional economic outlooks. I should actually correct, that starts today with Southeast Asia, but tomorrow is when we shall be having the regional economic outlook for Sub-Saharan Africa being released, and I'll be right here to bring you the latest here in Washington, D.C.